that can really frame an outdoor space are the planters, but man, they can run you a pretty penny. So Danielle is back to talk about how you can actually DIY your own planter. Now, the one you've done, Danielle, is so good because it is so big. Look at this. It would be so expensive if you bought this.
That's right. And we decided to do that as an extension to the fence almost. So we've stained it exactly the same colors as the fence because that way you can extend your outdoor space. But if you've got a super large space, you can also kind of make it cozier and define the eating area by bringing these in. And when you make it yourself, you can decide how big or how tall you want it. And that is, to me, one of the most important things visually in an outdoor space is the greenery at different heights. And so not all spaces are conducive to tall vines or tall trees, so this really gives you a boost.
Lovely. Okay, so you can make it as tall or as short as you want it. You can make it whatever color you want it.
Exactly.
And it's actually not that tough to make. So you're going to show us, this is an example of one that started.
Exactly. So this is the frame of it, and you'll see it's essentially like two rectangles that you're putting together with the mid pieces. I've used cedar because cedar is naturally moisture resistant, but you can also use pressure treated.
Okay.
I got all of my wood at Home Depot, and you can even, if you've got your sizes set, you can even ask the lovely people who work there to cut them for you if you don't have a method to cut them with at all. So
fantastic.
Yeah, so I'm just gonna, so what we did was we created two rectangles essentially. We've added one in the center for both stability, but also for a shelf, which I'm gonna show you why that's really important.
Okay.
So once you've got your rectangle assembled, and you can kind of put that on the floor and just screw it together. And of course, you're always using exterior hardware, so you don't want this to rust. So I'm just gonna, once the frame is set, you can then screw it to the midsection.
Now, if you're doing this in real life in your backyard, obviously we're doing this for television, you're gonna wanna take the necessary precautions. I mean, you've got these power tools at home all the time, but put on the mask, do whatever you need to do for the eye, eye protection,
You probably want sensible shoes.
Sensible shoes.
I have sensible shoes here, but I was told to not put them on.
Only if you feel like it.
So okay, beautiful. It's very sturdy, and when designing the size of it, you want to give it enough depth, because the higher you go, the more wobble you're going to get. We've got about 1.5 feet here.
Okay, lovely.
So we've got 3 feet up, 1.5 feet that way, and I'm adding the horizontal fence boards in, and that's kind of a very modern way. It's a way to keep it modern. And you would literally just plunk them on top. I haven't got any space between them. It's not necessary for what I'm doing. And I've always pre-drilled the holes because you don't want the wood to split.
Okay, smart tip.
Yeah, but other than that, it's fairly easy. It actually is so easy.
What's good about it is that it's just, as you mentioned, 2 squares together. There's nothing, you know, crazy about the shape of it. So you're really just paint by numbers, putting it all together.
Exactly. And of course, I have added some in the middle for extra rigidity.
Yeah, that's smart. Okay, now the shelf. I can imagine what this is for. If you've ever made the mistake of getting a super deep planter and then gone out to find the plant that's going to go in the planter, you see nothing at the top. Like, basically a tiny little speck coming out of the top because it's just too deep.
And you could, I mean, you could fill this with soil, but it would be ridiculously heavy.
Expensive too.
Beyond that, for some of us, what I hear from most people, and I'm one of them, is that they always kill the plants they buy at the store. Like, it looks so beautiful, and then they get it home and they transplant it and it dies, and that is because we tend to overwater. Like, that is the leading cause that plants will die.
Leading cause of plant death.
Yeah, so you can literally take these plants, and I love these Kimberly ferns. These are all from Sheridan Nurseries. You can take them in the pot that you buy them in, which has drainage, so you don't have to worry about drowning your plants, and literally plunk it in, and it's ready to go.
That's perfect. Keep it in there. Keep it in there. It's fine.
I keep it in there, and then from May until beginning of November, I've got this lush greenery in my backyard the whole time, and then you can bring them inside, and then you can transplant them.
Beautiful. Perfect for shade as well. I do ferns as well, so because we've got a lot of shade. But what a great project.